Event Horizon takes audiences on a chilling journey, following a group of astronauts dispatched on a rescue mission to locate a starship that mysteriously vanished years prior. The film masterfully builds suspense, starting with a slow, creeping dread that gradually intensifies, culminating in a truly horrific and shocking third act that leaves a lasting impression. Bolstered by a great ensemble cast, each actor brings a distinct personality to their role, making the crew's descent into madness all the more impactful. Despite its initial mixed reception, the movie has since amassed a considerable cult following, earning its place as one of modern cinema's most compelling guilty pleasures for fans of sci-fi horror. In this video, prepare to voyage into the darkest corners of Event Horizon, uncovering intriguing fun facts, shocking secrets, and mind-blowing production details that even the most dedicated fans might not know. This deep dive will fundamentally change how you view this terrifying sci-fi horror classic. And without further ado, let's dive in. Paul W. S. Anderson's original version of the film was significantly longer and far more graphic than what was released in theaters. His initial 130-minute cut was so intense that test audiences and the studio were sick and overwhelmed by its violence. As a result, Paramount demanded he shorten the film by 30 minutes and lessen the gruesome content. Anderson has since expressed that he felt rushed during this re-editing process, believing he overdid the cuts by about 10 minutes. While there was excitement in 2012 about producer Lloyd Levin possibly finding a VHS tape with a more complete version of the film, Anderson revealed years later in 2017 that neither he nor Levin had actually seen it. This was due to both being too busy and unable to be in the same location with a working VHS player. Despite his excitement to see the contents, Anderson suspects the tape's condition might be too poor to be useful for a proper restoration. One of the most visually impressive and challenging shots in Event Horizon is the 45-second sequence where the camera pulls back from Sam Neill's character, Dr. Weir, looking out a window, to reveal he's on a massive space station orbiting Earth. This intricate shot alone took the digital special effects company Cinesite 10 weeks to complete and consumed nearly a third of the film's entire visual effects budget. The complexity arose because it involved combining separate miniature models of different sizes that had to seamlessly connect, making it look like one continuous movement. Anderson was incredibly particular about this shot, reportedly having it redone over 20 times before he was satisfied, even jokingly claiming the visual effects artist responsible needed a year-long break afterwards to recover from the ordeal. The central, terrifying device, informally called the gravity drive, and officially known in the script as the third containment, underwent a significant visual overhaul during production. Initially, it was conceived as a sleek, black 10-meter sphere that would levitate between rotating mechanical arms, containing a stable black hole used as the ship's constant power source. However, director Paul W. S. Anderson decided to redesign it to feature interlocking rings. This change was a deliberate nod to the puzzle box from Hellraiser in 1987, a clear source of inspiration for Event Horizon's horror elements. Additionally, the spikes on the chamber's curved walls were meant to extend inwards and connect with the machine each time the drive activated, emphasizing its dangerous and alien nature. Unfortunately, by the end of production, the film had run out of time and budget, so this specific effect could not be realized. Another visual inspiration for the gravity drive was taken from a biblically accurate depiction of the Ophanim, a class of angels mentioned in the Old Testament, particularly in the book of Ezekiel. Unlike the common image of winged humanoids, these angelic beings are described as complex, interconnected wheels, sparkling with jewels, and often depicted as being covered in eyes. This abstract, mechanical, and somewhat alien appearance of the Ophanim provided the perfect foundation for the Event Horizon's core, transforming what could have been a simple engine into something both awe-inspiring and deeply unsettling, truly hinting at the otherworldly horror the ship would encounter. At the time of its release, Event Horizon was largely panned by critics and performed poorly at the box office. However, over the years the film has gained a significant cult following, becoming a beloved horror classic for many. Director Paul W.S. Anderson has shared an interesting anecdote about this, revealing that actor Kurt Russell accurately predicted the movie's future cult status long before it happened. Anderson had shown Russell a screening of Event Horizon before they began working together on their next film, Soldier. After seeing it, Russell told Anderson, "Forget about what this movie's doing now. In 15 years' time, this is going to be the movie you're glad you made." A prediction that ultimately proved true. The film's unique blend of sci-fi and cosmic horror, with its disturbing visuals and themes of interdimensional terror, has resonated deeply with audiences and creators alike. This influence is particularly evident in the world of video games, where Event Horizon's atmospheric tension and gruesome aesthetics have inspired critically acclaimed titles such as Dead Space and Doom 3. Developers of Dead Space cited Event Horizon as a major inspiration. The concept of a derelict spaceship haunted by grotesque horrors and psychological torment is central to both. Even the ship design and tone of isolation echo Event Horizon's aesthetic. And while Doom as a franchise predates the film, Doom 3 shares striking similarities in atmosphere. Dark corridors, hellish portals, and a descent into madness. Fans drew parallels between Dr. Weir and Doom 3's Dr. B. Truger, as well as the shared theme of technology accidentally opening gateways to hell. The production encountered a very real and dangerous incident during the filming of a fireball sequence within the gravity drive tunnel. Anderson had a military flamethrower brought in to create a massive fireball effect. However, the sheer power of the flamethrower's jet caused it to topple, igniting the wooden ceiling of the set. Anderson immediately ordered the stunt coordinator to shut it down, but the controls were unfortunately located on the device itself, making it impossible for anyone to safely approach it. The flamethrower then overturned again, setting the wooden floor on fire directly above where the gas canisters feeding the flames were stored. The studio was quickly evacuated, and thankfully the canisters remained intact until the fire could be extinguished. This unexpected disaster necessitated the rapid construction of a new temporary set while the damaged one underwent repairs. Ultimately, the repaired original set was only used for one additional day of filming. Philip Eisner's original script for the movie had a highly technical explanation of the gravity drive's space folding mechanism. Anderson felt it was too dense for general audiences, so he asked Eisner to simplify it. That led to the now iconic scene where Dr. Weir folds a piece of paper and punches a pen through it, visually demonstrating how two distant points in space can be connected instantly. This visual metaphor became a sci-fi staple as it was paraphrased in the movie Interstellar using the exact same demonstration when Romilly explains wormholes to Cooper, as well as in Thor: Love and Thunder, where Jane Foster cheekily references both Event Horizon and Interstellar while explaining Einstein-Rosen bridges, essentially wormholes, using the same paper folding trick. In the movie, a subtle but crucial piece of foreshadowing occurs when Stark, aboard the Lewis and Clark, attempts to scan the abandoned ship for life signs. Her scanner picks up life signals seemingly everywhere, without any discernible pattern or exact location, leaving her baffled and unable to explain the anomalous readings. This anomaly is an early hint at the terrifying truth that the Event Horizon itself has become a living entity, corrupted by its journey through a hellish dimension. Stark later articulates this very theory to Captain Miller, long before he and the rest of the crew tragically confirm it as the horror unfolds and the ship's malevolent influence becomes undeniably clear. The unsettling visions from hell sequences and the found footage of the Event Horizon's original crew were heavily influenced by disturbing yet captivating art from centuries past. After touring art galleries with his production designer, Anderson was deeply impressed by the works of 16th century Renaissance painters Hieronymus Bosch and Peter Bruegel. He was fascinated by how these artists depicted hell as a truly terrifying and complete antithesis to heaven, a concept they genuinely believed in. Additionally, the macabre and often grotesque beauty of photographer Joel Peter Witkin's work, which often featured deformed or dissected figures, also served as a significant inspiration. Anderson revealed that these graphic scenes were filmed towards the very end of production, with a smaller crew, and a significant portion of the Visions from Hell comprised of more extensive and graphic hell sequences and very disturbing shots. These segments were filmed by both Anderson and director Vadim John, often on weekends, with the video log alone requiring a month of preparation and about a week to shoot. According to producer Jeremy Bolt, the intention was to make these scenes as grotesque as possible, with the mindset that if you're going to go to hell, you've really got to do it. You can't tap dance. To achieve a heightened sense of realism and violence in shots depicting damaged body parts, the production employed real amputees who were then fitted with practical special effects. For instance, one actor with missing teeth was given stunt dentures designed to be knocked out. Furthermore, pornographic actors were hired to make the sex and rape scenes more explicit and really gruesome. Too gruesome to even be mentioned in this video. Jason Isaacs recalled in a 2023 interview that these scenes, filmed on an adjacent soundstage, included things that are definitely illegal to do now and probably illegal to do then, indicating their extreme nature. The intensity of these shoots was such that some crew members reportedly had to leave the set due to feeling sick. The studio executives, having only observed the initial, less intense filming, were reportedly shocked when they saw a rough cut of the film, with some even fainting. Anderson humorously noted that Paramount, being the studio behind Star Trek, likely expected a similar sci-fi adventure, but with a bit more action, not the visceral horror they received. Ironically, brief shots of the eyeless corpses and Burning Man from Event Horizon were later reused in Star Trek Voyager, episode Random Thoughts. After directing Mortal Kombat, which was PG-13 and relatively tame in terms of violence, Paul W.S. Anderson was eager to explore darker, more intense subject matter. He was specifically drawn to the concept of Event Horizon, a horror-laced sci-fi project that allowed him to go full throttle into disturbing imagery and mature themes. In pursuit of this creative shift, he declined opportunities to direct other high-profile projects, including X-Men, The X-Files, Alien Resurrection, as well as Mortal Kombat Annihilation. According to Anderson himself, a studio executive initially asked whether the film could be toned down to PG-13, but Anderson was aiming for a much grittier, more disturbing vision. The first rough cut he submitted to the MPAA landed a dreaded NC-17 rating because of its extreme violence, disturbing imagery, and the infamous Visions from Hell footage. To secure a theatrical release, Anderson had to drastically re-edit the film, slicing around 30 minutes of footage and heavily dialing back the gore. The result was still intense, but a lot of fans have long speculated about what the uncut version might have looked like. Some footage resurfaced over the years, including a VHS copy found in a Transylvanian salt mine, believe it or not. But it was too degraded to use for a proper director's cut. Dr. William Weir's name appears to be a deliberate reference to Johann Weyer, also spelled Vier or Virus, a 16th century Dutch physician and occult scholar. Weyer was known for his opposition to witch hunts, and his belief that many accused witches were actually suffering from mental illness. However, he also believed in the existence of demons, and compiled a catalog of them titled Pseudomonarchia Demonum, which described their names, powers, and how to summon them. This connection adds a layer of thematic resonance to Event Horizon, where Weir, both the character and the ship's creator, unwittingly opens a gateway to a hellish dimension. The idea of a man of science dabbling in forces beyond comprehension mirrors Weyer's historical tension between rational medicine and occult belief. Apart from the Visions from Hell sequence that I mentioned earlier, many other scenes were removed from the movie that would have provided more context and character depth, particularly for Dr. Weir. One deleted sequence showed Weir being informed about the discovery of the lost ship and his immediate, insistent demand to join the rescue mission. This would have helped explain his unnerving enthusiasm for the Event Horizon and his suspicious vagueness when explaining its core mechanics to the crew. Another cutscene featured a more menacing Weir, as he was seen crawling down a ladder while hunting the remaining survivors. A particularly noteworthy scene that was also removed from the theatrical cut involved Captain Miller finding a ripped-out tooth, complete with its root and a bit of gum, floating inside the Event Horizon. Anderson said in the DVD commentaries that after the initial poor test screening results, he was requested to shorten the movie considerably. He regretted having to delete the tooth scene, but it didn't help the film's pacing. Jason Isaacs' character, DJ, met a particularly gruesome end in the film, and the special effects team went to extreme lengths to create a disturbing death scene. Isaacs recalled that they crafted an extraordinary latex model of his entire naked body, complete with every detail from veins and hair to moles and eye color. This incredibly realistic dummy was then hung by hooks, gutted from neck to navel with all its organs spilling out. The original plan was even more horrifying. DJ's entrails were meant to still be dangling, and he would then raise his head, revealing he was still alive, prompting Captain Miller to shoot him to end his suffering. However, this graphic vision proved too much for test audiences who were reportedly throwing up or swallowing down their cig. So the shot was ultimately changed to begin wider, cutting down on the initial visceral shock. Isaacs was so impressed by the dummy's lifelike quality that he actually asked if he could take it home after filming, sliced chest and all. The special effects department, reportedly shocked by the request, politely refused, claiming they still needed it even though they didn't. When Isaacs told his wife about this, she responded saying, "What the f*** did you think we were going to do with it?" When writer Philip Eisner first drafted the script for the movie, it revolved around a more traditional sci-fi horror premise, an infestation of tentacular aliens that had hitched a ride back with the ship after it traversed their planet or dimension. However, when director Anderson was brought on board, while he was drawn to the core idea of a haunted house in space, he felt it too closely mirrored the movie Alien. Instead, Anderson envisioned a film more in the vein of classic supernatural horror, like The Haunting of 1963 or The Shining, but set in space. He therefore pushed for the source of the evil to be shifted from physical aliens to something far more supernatural and malevolent, tapping into diabolical forces beyond human comprehension. This influence is clearly visible in the film. The scene where the bridge door is violently battered by an unseen force is a direct homage to The Haunting. Similarly, the horrifying shot near the end of the film, where the gravity tank fills with blood and then explodes, is a clear and deliberate reference to the iconic elevator gushing with blood scene from The Shining. And that wraps up this deep dive into the cosmic horror of Event Horizon. From the chilling implications of its experimental drive to the visceral terror that unfolds within the ship's haunted halls, it's clear why this film continues to resonate with fans of science fiction horror. The questions it raises about humanity's reach, the nature of evil, and what lies beyond our comprehension are truly unsettling. So, if you enjoyed this exploration into the fascinating and adrenaline-pumping aspects of this flick, please give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the movies, games, and stories that keep us up at night. Until next time, thanks for watching, stay sharp, and we'll see you in the next video.